Hello, everyone.
Hello,
We're still
guys.
going to
How are
wait
you?
wait a bit longer for more people to join. There they are. They're coming. Guys, tell us where are you watching this from? Where are you? You can say hello in
I'm
the
in
chat.
Dallas, Texas.
Well, you're not watching this. You're streaming this, Francesco.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it was a question for me.
You're in Dallas, right? Antonia, where are you now?
Now I'm in.
She's in Milan. I myself am close to Milan. I'm in a city called Monza. Maybe some of you in the audience might know Monza because of the Grand Prix. That's usually what Monza is known for. But all right, I think we're starting to get some audience coming in. So without further ado, hello everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this Salon de la Musique community call. Your hosts today are Antonia Comito and Francesco Comito.
Hello, everyone.
Today, we will talk a little bit about NFTs and blockchain technology. Sometimes, as we talk about these topics, we might get a little technical, but don't worry, because we're going to break down these definitions, the definitions that we will give, in very simple terms, in layman's terms. Your starting point as we discuss these topics should be that these new technologies, blockchain and NFTs, which in a sense is kind of like saying the same thing, will enable musicians, all you musicians here in the audience, to monetize your art better than ever. Without further ado, I'm going to hand the word off to Antonia here by asking her if she could maybe talk to us a little bit about what blockchain technology actually is.
Yeah. Let's start from really the beginning. Blockchain technology at its essence is a cryptographically secure, decentralized digital ledger. What does it mean? Blockchain technology offers a way to create a medium of exchange in which no central authority would need to legitimize or oversee all the transactions. This is the meaning of decentralization. We have also an image that maybe we can show about the difference between centralized and decentralized system. And here we are. As you can see, we have the difference between a centralized network and a decentralized network. A centralized system have a core authority that dictates the truth to the other participants in the network. A decentralized network have no core authority to dictate the truth to other participants in the network. This is the main difference.
Power to the people.
Exactly.
Precisely. For everyone listening, some of the key terms that we just used were the fact that in a blockchain network, there is no central authority, like Antonio said, that is going to legitimize or oversee transactions. So this is a net contrast with the type of system that we have today, which is a centralized system. What does that mean? In our centralized system, we require, in order for transactions to occur, and what transactions are we talking about? We're talking about either sending someone some money through the banking system, or maybe making a purchase, right? If you want to purchase a house, you have to wire somebody money. There has to be a transfer of value. All of these transactions, they can occur only because there are authorities that are trusted throughout this process. If you want to send somebody some money, what is happening is that your bank is talking to this other person's bank, and they are transferring this money between each other. For the transaction to take place, for it to occur, the banks need to trust each other, and they need to know you. That's why we have KYC and all of these requirements. In a decentralized network, one of the adjectives used to describe it sometimes is that it's trustless. So it doesn't require you to trust the bank, right? It doesn't even require you to trust the person that you are transacting with. So let's give an example of a very simple transaction. So even putting aside banks and digital transactions like wire transfer, think about just handing somebody some money. If you hand somebody some money or they hand it to you, they are, it's physical, it's dollar bills, right? These notes have to be legitimate. They have to be non-counterfeit. And so when you are transacting with someone and accepting their banknotes, you are trusting the fact that these banknotes are legitimate. They're real. They're not fake. They're not counterfeit. With a decentralized system, with blockchain technology, you don't need to do this. You don't need to trust that the other person is giving you something real, something that is not counterfeit, because it is the system itself, it is the code itself, it is the program itself that does that for you. That's why it's called a trustless system.
We
Exactly.
have to say that today, blockchain technology is often seen as a platform for cryptocurrency by many, but I swear its use can be expanded to an enormous amount of different applications.
It's much more.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they have a disruptive impact on the creative economy, and we are.
I know you have a lot to say, Antonia, about that. I'm just going to add that for people who are unfamiliar with all these topics, again, I'm going to give them little analogies. So you should think of blockchain technology, at least this is a way that I conceptualize it, as maybe fuel, right? Or another way to conceptualize it is as an engine, right? When you create the engine, this engine can be used in cars, but it can also be used to power airplanes. You can do a lot of different things with an engine. You can, I don't know, build a fan, right? That'll keep you cool. But the point is, it's a technology that has many different applications. And for now, we have seen a certain number of applications, but we will see a lot more in the future. And, today we're going to talk to you about some of these applications that are relevant specifically for musicians, and so that musicians can profit more, essentially, from their art. And ultimately, this is going to be better for listeners too, because when as a listener you are directly supporting your favorite musicians, they can create more and you can listen more and everybody's happy.
For this reason,
For example,
go, Francesco.
just a second. For example, let's ask this question: why a musician, classical musician, should care about blockchain? This is the question. So say I am a musician. I only practice. I stay practicing. I only think about concerts. Somebody else will take care of my concert promotion, managers, etc., selling my CDs. That, by the way, nobody buys anymore CDs. So, and I stay practicing and creating my music. But after, what do I do? Why do I need to pay attention to this topic, blockchain? Because do you know that also you can transform your music in assets? Assets, what is an asset? Asset is something that brings you money.
So just to be clear, the idea is that blockchain technology allows musicians to transform their music into an asset. This is what you're saying?
Exactly.
Perfect.
So what is an asset? An asset is something that puts money into your pocket. That's it. Let's say it this way. Let's imagine that you can take, for example, one prelude and fugue. So you play a prelude and fugue by Bach. You have this recording, and you put in YouTube, and this video is generating revenue through ads, for example, in YouTube. This video becomes an asset. But also with blockchain technology, we can say we can transform this prelude and fugue in a Pokemon card, let's say. Do you know what is a Pokemon card? Yes, you can hold it, you can sell it, you can
exchange it for another card.
Yes, exactly. You can give it as a gift.
This might seem a silly example, the Pokemon card, but the truth is that nowadays the OG, the original Pokemon cards are actually very, very valuable. Some of them are worth hundreds of thousands, I believe, even millions of dollars. So
your music becomes something that you can exchange, and this thing has a price, and the price changes according to how many people want to purchase it or not. So the price is not decided by exactly by central authorities that they say how much your music should cost, but is the people that decide. The centralized system, and the transactions are not how to say, they are not validated by a central authority. It's the community that validate these transactions. I don't know if it makes sense.
Yeah, now you explain it in a deeper way. And this is the reason you are 100% right, Francesco. This is why blockchain technology is exciting many creators, because of its potential to change the control that artists have over their work. And we are talking about, first of all, remuneration, protection rights, your intellectual property, copyright, all these problems.
Just to say, for example, Antonio, you're talking about copyrights. Let's talk also about what is happening in Facebook, for example. Every time we post a video, there is a central authority that is blocking our videos. And
you should note that these videos are original performances of historical musical works, so therefore nobody owns the copyright to the sheet music, and definitely nobody owns the copyright to the original performance of our artists, the artists that are part of the Salon de la Musique community. Sometimes even the Salon de la Musique founders, right? If we upload one of Antonia's performances, Facebook has the audacity, or Facebook's copyright bots have the audacity to say, no, that we're going to mute this because you do not own this music. What do you mean? I created, I performed this music, which again is pre-1925. Sorry?
And I think the blockchain actually solved this problem. The blockchain system will solve the problem. So if we don't exactly, we are talking about a crazy future. This future is already here. You can already transform. You can already transform your music in a smart contract. We will see what is a smart contract. So the blockchain system will validate that actually your music is and you have all the right on this music, and nobody can say anything. Even one I don't know, Facebook or YouTube or Google, nobody can say something against, because there is the community of the blockchain system that validates your asset.
Let's now explain a little bit in a deeper way what this blockchain technology is in a more practical way. Okay, let's be clear. A blockchain network consists of a series of blocks. Maybe we have some images to show to our audience so that we can understand which is a blockchain and what is a block. Then, a blockchain technology, as you can see, is a network. And this network consists of a series of blocks. This block contains certain data, let's say. These blocks form a distributed database, as you can see, that is shared across different computers on the network. Let's make an example, very practical example. My computer, Nicola's computer, Francesco's computer, they are part of a blockchain network. This means that they are nodes of the network. And these nodes work to validate each transaction in the blockchain. And all this information are stored in each block. Very easy, very simple. That's it.
This principle, the fact that a decentralized network validates transactions, it seems like something so simple. And you almost wonder, well, okay, so what's the big deal? What can we do with it? And we'll explain what this does for musicians, how musicians can take advantage of this. But I'm going to give you another example, which I think is the most famous example and maybe even the simplest one to understand, which is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the first application of blockchain technology. And what the analogy that you might have heard is that Bitcoin is like digital gold. So why is Bitcoin so important? Bitcoin is important because for the first time using the Bitcoin blockchain, it was possible to transfer wealth, right? To transfer something of value, in this case, the Bitcoins, from person A to person B without the intervention of a third party, right? Without the intervention of a bank, for example. And again, while this might seem simple, it's actually revolutionary because
Exactly.
it completely, and of course the system the network is constantly expanding, more people are starting to adopt it. But let's imagine that right now everybody had adopted it. And of course, this is an oversimplification because Bitcoin is more of a store of wealth than something that can be used to transact day to day. But then we can also talk about the Lightning Network if some of you are if some of you are experts on this topic, you might have heard about that. But without going into those details, the point is, if today the network, everybody was a part of the network, we could instantly do away with all banks. So that's how something that is so simple.
Exactly.
Not just that.
But let's think about one small thing. Just a second. Even banks, they are buying Bitcoin. They buy Bitcoin and they let you working for dollars that lost 95% of that of its value for.
So now you're talking about
I think 7.
Yeah, since in the last 100 years, I think if you actually look at the value of the dollar over the course of a century, it has lost. I don't remember the exact figure. Maybe Francesco, but it has lost over 90% of its.
Yes, worth. It's crazy. So they buy Bitcoins and you keep working for dollars or euro or yen. So just to say.
Right, but Antonia, please continue.
I was thinking maybe using this example, let's think about the term blockchain. Mm-hmm. Guys, it's a chain of blocks. And this places the data in a digital timeline, making it impossible to tamper with. What does it mean?
Exactly. This is the key. This is the key advancement. This is the revolutionary technology. The fact that this is a ledger, right? So a register of information that is impossible to tamper with. Another analogy that I like to think about is, well, so if I wanted to prove that that you were you the listener, right? You are a person. You have a name. If I wanted to prove that you are actually who you say you are, right, we have IDs for that. But if I wanted to somehow create a way to prove that beyond the fact that you have an ID, we could, for example, this is an absurd example, place a camera on you from the instant that you are born to the instant that you die. This camera followed you around for your entire life. If we had that footage, then we could, of course, prove at any time that you are actually you. In a sense, this is what is happening to Bitcoins, because since every time a Bitcoin moves, it is part of this movement, is recorded in the blockchain. To validate, to prove the authenticity of a Bitcoin, the authenticity is proven by essentially tracing its origin to the moment that it was originally mined. This is how we can have a system that doesn't rely on third parties this is the essential, the small but with incredible implications revolution.
You told about also another benefit of blockchain, that is transparency. We can say that blockchain is a
immutable.
Is a transparency machine because everything is traceable, as you said, and all the information stored in a blockchain is immutable. And you can tamper it you cannot actually tamper it without the permission of all the nodes in the network. This is revolutionary.
Right now we're talking about what would be necessary to actually sort of break the Bitcoin network or any other blockchain. You need essentially to control more than half the network. You need 51% of the network to do so.
Then let's wrap up. A blockchain in general is a way to store information safely online by making it part of a decentralized ledger register database. This is a blockchain.
Like a big book. Inside this book, there are many pages.
And each
That's the-
block is a page.
Exactly. And there is a big book full of informations.
And the fact that is decentralized and the fact that it is immutable is it is the why it's far safer and more efficient than other forms of database, like I don't know. I don't say any name. Okay. Like
Exactly.
That's not
But
name
we got it. But the question is how me as a musician, I say yes, okay, all this blah 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 is very beautiful, but how can I start to to use this thing? What is blockchain? How do I start to use
How does it benefit musicians?
we will go over
Exactly.
it. But I will ask one last thing. It's about decentralization. This is very important because I think this is the biggest revolution that we are living in today. This record of transactions that actually is blockchain does not require the involvement of any third party, of any central authority, as we said. No middlemen, no governments, no big corporations, no individuals, anything of that. And it's relatively anonymous. I think this is huge.
And of course, banks, all these entities that we just mentioned, are not happy because as long as things remain the way they are, they stand to profit immensely. Because if you use the systems that currently exist to transfer money, for example, every time this money, this wealth is transferred, these entities take a cut. And so if you actually look at the total value before and after, let's say, 7 transactions, a big chunk of it it disappears. It's collected by these entities, these third parties. Instead, with a network like a blockchain network with something like Bitcoin, etc., this doesn't happen. Nobody.
What you are saying, Nicola, is really important because this is also another way to print money. So
Yeah.
imagine that every time that you purchase something with a credit card, there is a commission. There is a little percentage, and that percentage does not exist. Actually, there is not a gold coin. That is not real. It's not real money. It's fake money. So printing money. There is also the fractional reserve system and other system. Blah, blah, blah. So they print money. Your money be worth nothing sooner or later. So that's why they are afraid of the blockchain. They are afraid of bitcoins and other cryptos. But here we are talking about. Musical coins. What is a musical coin? Us as a musician, how can we benefit from it?
Okay.
By the way, say Ivan is here, our dear friend. Who we have here? Jerry, hello. If you have some question, right here in the comment, we will.
Exactly. If you have some questions, if you maybe if some of the terms that we use are unclear, let us know in the comments, and we can go over some of these terms and some of these explanations, because sometimes it's difficult to have these conversations because everybody has a different starting point. Some people might know a little bit about blockchain. Some people might know a little bit about finance, or just now Francesco mentioned fractional reserve banking, and many people might not know what that means. So if you don't know what some of these terms mean, let us know in the comments. But go on, Antonia.
Write comments, make questions without any problem, really, because we know that is a very delicate and complex topic. Then go for it. Let's talk.
Just a second. We understand also that, for example, musicians. I'm talking for musicians because I am a musician, so I know what it means. We are a little bit afraid, I must say, of what is unknown. we are afraid to lose what we have. We are afraid of what is known, to lose what is known, and so we don't want to know anything about other things. Instead of seeing an opportunity, we stay in our small world that is becoming smaller, smaller, and smaller, and smaller. First of all, we need to understand this thing and see that there is a future in front of us. If we don't front the future, if we don't look to the future, if we don't understand that we need to reinvent ourselves as a musician, it's going to be a big problem. But really soon. This is the point. So, if you have some question, write in the comment. You can also send us a message. We would be really happy to send you some material to read or some video. If you don't have time to read, always find time to read. This is super important. And let's talk about now how a musician can benefit from it.
Exactly. Let's go practical. Okay. Let's talk about then the emerging use cases of blockchain technology in the creative economy. And let's talk about smart contract and NFTs. Finally, what is a smart contract? I remember the first time that a smart contract was defined was by Nick Szabo in the 90s as a set of promises signed in a digital form. A normal contract, a conventional contract translated in a digital form. This is in a very elementary and easy way a smart contract.
So I'm going to just repeat that for the audience. So you said that it's a set of promises that are essentially digitalized.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's talk about now NFTs. As you can see in the image, NFTs means non-fungible token. This non-fungible token, it means that they are unique. It's not like money. If you have one dime, let's say, you can exchange with another dime without any problem. If you have a big Van Gogh painting, it's not the same if you are exchanging it with a different painting,
Chagall painting or, I don't know. Exactly.
This is the difference.
They're not equivalent.
Exactly. This is the difference.
We're basically exploring the meaning of the word fungible. If an NFT is a non-fungible token, we can understand what non means. We can understand what more or less what a token is, but we're exploring the meaning of fungible. So fungible is essentially something whereby all of its copies are identical / at least in value. So if you have $1 and I have $1, if I say, hey, give me that $1 for my $1, unless maybe you suspected that I did something with this $1, hopefully not, then it means nothing to you. This is, there's no problem because the $2 are equivalent. Instead, something like you said, Antonia, a painting is non-fungible. There's, one of it. It's unique. It's not something of which there are many. And it's also not something that can be, for example, divided. If I have $1, I can divide that into 100 pennies. If I have a painting, I can't, tear up the painting and say, okay, here you go. You have a part of this painting. And this is actually an interesting example because maybe we'll mention this later. But through NFTs, you can do something called fractional ownership. Yeah. Exactly. Maybe we can mention this later, but the core concept is NFTs allow you to fractionalize, so divide and share the ownership of something that is typically indivisible, like a physical painting. But go on.
Can I make one example? Example? Let's say that Glenn Gould, Preludes and Fugue, or for example, let's take a particular concert. For example, by Vladimir Horowitz, he played the third piano concerto by Rachmaninoff with Zubin Mehta. Let's say that that recording, let's say Vladimir Horowitz is still alive. He says, now I want to make from this recording 20 copies, 20 original copies. And, for example, 20 original copies of each movement. So the Rachmaninoff Piano Concerto number 3 has 3 movements. So we have 20 copies of each movement. And I put a price of it. And everybody will be so happy to own that that piece of that recording. So I am the owner, can you imagine, of this concert of Vladimir Horowitz. Can you imagine how cool is this thing? And after I can sell
cool,
to somebody else.
I'm just going to maybe clarify something. So it's not 20 separate copies. It's 20 pieces of one copy. This is what
exactly. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
You're right. Exactly. But can you imagine how cool is this thing? So
yeah.
I become owner of this particular recording. I am the only owner. It's not that, for example, there is a music label that prints out, thousands and thousands of copies of that CDs and everybody can buy it. I am the only owner of, for example, if there are 20 pieces, I am the owner of the one of those 20, and I can sell this piece of art, this token that is non-fungible, that is mine.
Share.
I can sell it, exactly. And when I sell it, the price goes up according to the how big is the price that I decide. Do you see? So we decide the price. It's not somebody else that decide the price.
Then, okay, let's
We have
go.
a question here from our dear Alex, by the way.
We're never going to let Antonia go on with with everything that she wants to say. This is essentially the theme of the call. But we'll prioritize audience questions just this once. So Alex says, interesting topic. If a freelance musician, I think, wants to sell my recordings of someone else's composition, how can I benefit from selling it as an NFT outside iTunes, Spotify, and other big platforms? It might be possible, but will I get some amount of visibility as I get on those platforms? So if I understand the question correctly, Alex, you're asking if somebody who owns one of your NFTs sells this NFT to somebody else, are you going to receive? Are you, as the artist who created this NFT, going to get something that you wouldn't get instead on if somebody, let's say, I don't think we can talk about iTunes and Spotify. We can make an analogy with the CDs. So let's say that, let's set this up. So you are the artist, you record a piece. You have this recording. In the years ago, what you could do is you could put this recording on a CD. I, as your fan, could buy your CD, listen to the music, and then I could maybe after some time sell this CD to somebody else. I have a collection now. You've become a famous artist, and so this collection is worth a lot of money. So I decide, okay, I'm going to sell this CD to somebody else. When I sell your CD, the CD collection, you as the artist are you created this collection. When I sell it to somebody else, you will get nothing, essentially, right? I sell the CD collection, I do it by myself, and you get nothing. Through NFTs, and here's the answer to your question, if instead what I own is the NFT of your music, then when I sell this NFT, you will get something. What? A percentage of the sale. How? And how? Because when the NFT is created, the fact that every time it exchanges hands, you, the artist who created it, receive a percentage of the sale price, is programmed into the NFT itself. This is what Antonio was mentioning earlier, smart contracts. Why are they called smart contracts? Because they kind of function autonomously when certain conditions are met. So in this case, the conditions are when the NFT changes hands, right? When it moves from one so-called wallet, this is a crypto wallet, to another crypto wallet, then it's exchanging hands. Therefore, when this happens, the smart contract will automatically pay the creator, you, a percentage of this transaction. So this is how,
we have to say that actually is you that decide how much is the percentage
Exactly.
that you will receive.
Precisely. So the artist, when the artist, and this is actually very interesting, and I'd like to maybe ask this question to the audience. So you as the artist decide how much, what percentage of the sale you get, what percentage will come back to you. So if what's going to happen is that there's going to be, in my opinion, a sort of debate, and we'll see eventually who wins this debate, right? Because a percentage has to be set. So artists could set a very high percentage. If the percentage is too high, we can imagine that through free market dynamics, the NFTs of the artists who set a very high percentage that will return to them when the NFT is sold between people, then maybe those NFTs will be undesirable, right? Because the owners, whoever purchases that NFT, will know that, okay, if I want to sell this NFT for €1,000, right? Actually 30% of it is going to go to the artist that created it, and so I will get €700, not 1,000. And so if instead I want to sell it for a profit to me of 1,000, I will have to sell it at a higher price point, such that that price point minus 30% equals the €1,000 or dollars that I want. And so, yeah, if the price is too high, it might make it undesirable. But if the percentage that the artist gets is too high, it might make it undesirable. If the percentage is too low, then of course it's not going to be great for the musician either. So I think it's going to be interesting to see this dynamic play out, and maybe eventually the market will settle on a kind of standard. And so my question to you is, and also to you, Francesco and Antonia, what do you think, as musicians, what do you think this percentage should be? What do you think is, fair, both for the creator and both for the owner, right? The people who exchange these NFTs.
I think that we cannot have one answer, because I think that we have to consider different factors. For example, the number of NFT of a specific collection, how they are rare, how they are unique, how much effort I did as an artist to create that specific NFT. Then in considering all these kind of X factors, I can set the smart contract as I want, considering all these needs, because I think that smart contract is like a conventional contract. You have to think what are your priorities, what are your needs as an artist, as a musician, as an entrepreneur as an entrepreneur too, and then deciding which kind of pricing strategy use. For example, let's be practical. If I want to create an NFT collection of little snippets, very easy to create, very, the number is very high, I can play with a little percentage and go for quantity, If
these are good considerations.
If I spend, I don't know, 1 year to create a
That's NFT, yeah, exactly.
A masterpiece, such, I don't know, a universe of music, art, and all that is in my mind, maybe I will consider different fees, let's say.
Ivan here says he would set that fee to 40 to 45%.
I think pretty big percentage.
I think it's a pretty big cut. Yeah, I agree. Why do I think it's a big cut? Because even, for example, on the Apple Store, the percentage that Apple takes. So if you want to sell an application on the App Store, Apple will take 30% of the sale, and this is a cut that the community believes to be quite big. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, there are other platforms that instead ask for maybe 15%. So 40 to 45% is a big cut, but who am I to say? That's why I'm interested to see what happens. Maybe, like Antonia said, different types of NFTs will will have a different percentage that will return to the creator, to the artist. It makes sense, for example, that if an NFT is of the type that is not going to be exchanged, traded often, it's not going to exchange hands often, then this percentage could be higher, while because otherwise the creator would not get a lot of money back. But instead, if this NFT is something that we can expect that it's going to exchange hands very often, then in that case, maybe this percentage could be a lot lower, because the creator will get this small percentage each time it's exchanged. And if that number, the number of times that is exchanged, is high, then the overall payout for the artist will be high.
Can I add one thing? Just
Yes.
a second. Let's imagine, for example, I put one really small percentage. For example, 2%, 10%, 5%. Imagine that my NFTs are sold everywhere. Everybody wants my NFT. I created with for example, let's say I record all preludes by Chopin, for example, all etudes by Chopin. Each piece of my music becomes a little soldier that works for me. Can you imagine? He's keeping working while I'm sleeping, for example. So I created cash flow. If you don't know what it means, cash flow, please write in the comment. Cash flow, it means that something brings me money constantly instead of me having to work. Does it make sense? So this is something revolutionary for musicians. Usually, for example, the percentage is taken by the music labels. They take through the copyrights, they take the money. And the artist, almost nothing. It depends who you are, obviously.
Precisely. Through blockchain, one of the themes is the doing away with middlemen. So whether that's the middlemen of the financial system, so banks, or in this case, the middlemen of music, so the labels.
Exactly. And I think this is one of the most important benefits that artists will have through NFTs. The fact that they have, let's say, a greater voice, a greater say in the pricing decision. They don't have to delegate to managers or promoters. They are actually personally deciding the pricing of their creative work. This is incredible, I think. Without middlemen, without entities or companies that decide the percentage for the artist and so on and so on.
Not just decide, but also take most of it.
Yeah, of course.
But how to create an NFT, for example? A musician will ask. There are platforms that, for example, like OpenSea, you can go and take a look now and see what there is inside. Most likely, you will find, for example, pictures or paintings, digital paintings. Some of them they are sold for thousands and thousands of dollars, even $1 million. Those paintings. So what you have to do is go to one of these platforms, for example, OpenSea, and take your recording and say create an NFT. You put your recording in this platform, and you decide the percentage. You write a description, a title of everything, and you create it. And after you need a wallet. Antonia, do you want to say what is a wallet? Digital wallet.
A wallet is your digital version of your physical wallet.
Exactly. It's not difficult. So
there are lots of tutorials that you can find online that will teach you how to create a wallet, how to, like Francesco was talking about, create an NFT. OpenSea is one such platform where you can create NFTs. There's a lot of information that is available online. Maybe in the future we might go into more detail about how to perform some of these actions, but there's already information out there. You don't have to wait for our specific tutorial. Maybe in the future we can
would be important. Yeah.
We can discuss maybe something that is more specific to to musicians, right? But if you want more basic information about how to how to create your wallet, you can find tutorials on YouTube.
And I want to say, I think this is very important, because why we are talking about today smart contract and NFTs and blockchain, because we are living in an era in which these technology are already here. For example, do you know, guys, that few days ago Meta, ex Facebook, announced the possibility to mint NFT directly on Instagram? Then you don't have to
this is huge.
You don't have to go. You can do it on Instagram, on the Meta circuit. Then
Twitter will do the same thing, I think.
Then I think it's very important. I think this is also our mission. It's to empower our community. It's to give them the right information to dive in the future, to understand what innovation means. This is very important. And I think that also our mission as Le Salon de la Musique is this that I'm saying. In the NFT world, for example, as we said before, you can find a lot of projects, a lot of collection that also can have a very cheap allure. And I think personally that this can lower the standard of art and culture. Then I think it's very important to empower musicians, professional musicians, empower professional artists to go in the NFT world and let them understand how to manage this kind of technology, how to how can we say, how can they bring art, real art, in the NFT world and in the blockchain world. I think this specific topic of the cultural heritage transition in the Web 3.0, I mean, blockchain, NFT, etc. It's very important. And as Le Salon de la Musique, we will do all we can to highlight the specific topic.
Can I ask? Can I add something? We can do everything here at Le Salon de la Musique. We can help you, blah 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 blah. They tell you what to do and how to do it. But if you, I'm talking to musicians. If you don't start to question what you've been taught, there is nothing we can do. So you have to start to question what you've been taught. Competitions, masterclasses, academies, and etc. 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 I'm not saying that they are not good thing, that you don't have to do all your things, what you want to do, but also open your, I don't want to say your third eye, open your ears to listen to something else and see, am I doing the right thing? Is my education enough for the future that is already here? If you don't question this thing, there is nothing we can do.
Consider that it's very unlikely that any educational system, right now we're talking about musicians, but the same is true for all professions and all educational niches. These systems are not, almost by definition, going to prepare you for what is new, because the fact, and anything that is taught inside a school is something that it's possible to teach it because it has been standardized, and it can only be standardized once it is quote unquote old. So if what is going to allow you to succeed as a musician is understanding how this new technology, NFTs, works, then this is not something that we have
Melo.
Say hello.
Ciao, Melo. Long time ago, I see you.
So this is not something that you will be able to learn inside a school, inside a traditional educational system. By the time that it becomes part of the curriculum, of the standard curriculum, it will be too late for those musicians that have not taken advantage of this opportunity. So
I agree 100%. I believe that academy is not the right place for pioneers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the good thing is that now you have all the knowledge for free that is available in your phone. You go on YouTube, you go and Google it. If you don't know something, go and Google it. Go and see in YouTube and learn. But if you don't want to learn because you don't have time, you can always hire somebody. But this person maybe has not your your interest as a priority. So it's so important to change our mind, our mindset, and start to constantly be in search of new teachers. New teachers are everywhere. Books, videos, mentors, friends, but always be in search. If you stay
It's
in
a
your
definition of teacher that goes beyond just the physical person. That is
exactly. Nowadays there is not anymore the time of the single teacher that is the only source of information. So you have the teacher and the school. Here now the teacher becomes one of those thousands and thousands of sources of information. You need only to want to go instead of staying only practicing at home and say I don't want to think about anything else. Of course, practice, create your product, work hard, but also open your ears to listen if there is something new. Because when you will want to do something, maybe it will be too late. When you read it on newspapers, it's already late. So
Okay, I think that now we have to go practical and say which are the benefits for musicians, for artists in general, when we are talking about NFTs, smart contract, etc.
I think we mentioned some of them. We talked about the fact that when an NFT is sold, artists get a percentage of the sale. That's definitely one of the very big and tangible and understandable benefits of NFTs for artists.
Also, Antonia,
One second,
maybe
we talk more about also the possibility to allocate shares to contributors.
exactly.
Are shares, like percentage of ownership is like in the stock market. You can, this I think is a very important benefit. And also I think that smart contract in general may disrupt the conventional, the traditional contract system, specifically when there are, opaque term. I think this is a revolutionary. It will it will change the system.
Exactly, Antonia. You can also, as a musician, be creative in creating this smart contract. For example, let's say I take my NFT, my recording of Etudes by Chopin or Etudes by Czerny or whatever you want. If you buy one of these NFT, you will have the right to access to all of my concerts everywhere in the world for free. You have a live ticket to all my concerts if you buy that NFT. For example, if you become a really famous musician, this NFT, this ticket, can you imagine to have the ticket to access to all the concerts of Vladimir Horowitz for free everywhere in the world? You can have it or you can sell it. And this thing can value a lot of money. You see the potential.
You can use smart contract NFTs, for merchandising, for tickets, for events, for music.
Crowdfunding.
For this reason, I want to share some practical use cases and some platforms that can be used in this direction. I wrote it down here. Okay. For example, do you know, guys, about peer tracks or Musique or Miselia? These are platforms for artists to upload their tracks, music. These platforms control licensing options, set distribution, and seek immediate royalty payments for their content. These platforms like Peertracks, Miselia, Musique, etc., work by attaching a smart contract. As we said, they are attaching a smart contract to every song, to every music, and dividing the revenue according to the terms stipulated in the contract. with a goal of creating a fair and sustainable music ecosystem. This is huge, really.
Exactly. It's too difficult. Oh my god, I don't understand anything. If you don't understand anything, write us a message. The question is, do you want to know? Do you want to know? If you want to know, if you are curious, write us a message. We can help you. That's it.
These are public platforms. If you cannot do it by yourself, ask us questions. Let's keep in contact. We are musicians, we are artists too, and we are happy to help you guys. Community, I think, is very important in a very strong meaning. We
Exactly.
are here to help you. And also, I think another huge benefit of smart contract is the possibility to micro metering. Guys, you know what is micro metering?
Question mark. I think not. I think most people do not.
Let's make an example. If you want to sell on I don't know, Spotify or on Spotify your music, Spotify allows you to sell just the individual song as a unit. Blockchain instead could create snippets of your work and create these snippets available for a price. And these snippets can be of few seconds, then you have freedom in deciding the consumable unit of the creative work.
Exactly.
This is something that makes sense in a world where, nowadays on social media platforms like Instagram, it could be that a very small piece of a new song becomes famous because it's used as background music in the Instagram reel, right? And these are only a few seconds long. That's how something like this is valuable. It allows you to monetize even just a very small part of your music. It allows you to get paid when this little snippet is used, for example, in Instagram Reels.
Can I say something about, you're talking about Instagram?
One second. Let's make an example. Tomorrow morning, I want to create an NFT with just the cadenza of the third bar of minor. I can do it. I don't have to record all the third movement, all the first movement in the end of the first movement, recording the cadenza. I will record just the cadenza, will create my fantastic NFT, and this NFT will be available for a price that I will decide.
Exactly.
It's a way to very flexibly monetize your output as a musician. You can just you can just record the cadenza like Antonia said.
I would like to add something that I think is really important. We are talking about Instagram, YouTube. Remember always that a centralized system can always shut down your account when they want. They can shut down your monetization when they want. In a blockchain system, they can't. So pay attention on this thing.
Exactly.
I will buy it. Our dear
Ivan is talking about the merch store.
You're great.
The Salon de la Musique merch store. If anybody is interested in some classical music themed merchandise, whether it's t-shirts or other apparel or some household items, some prints, you can find them all on the Salon de la Musique at threadless.com. Guys, I think we're coming up on time. Are there any closing statements that you would like to add? Otherwise, we can always stay in touch with the audience through Facebook.
My statement is always be in search of something new. Be always in search. Never stop. If you stop, we are finished. If we stop.
And I want to say that, as Francesco said, exploring is vital. It's crucial in the learning process, and I think that the Salon de la Musique wants to create this environment in which the community grows together. We help with each other, and we have the same journey
Exactly.
through innovation. And then I think this is our mission. Then one more time, if you want to ask question, if you want to send message to Le Salon de la Musique, to us also as a personal profile. If you want to stay in contact, do it without any problem. We are here for you. And this is my closing statement.
Great.
All right. I think that's a great way to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone. We'll
Say hello to Roberto.
very well. Then we'll see you in the next call. Bye, everyone. Thank you.